Do you ever feel so ugly you just want to disappear? You just want to curl up into a ball and cry? Do you just want to dissolve into a puddle of tears? Then do I have the cryptid for you. We are diving into the ugliest and saddest cryptid of them all tonight on Midnight Cryptid Club. Hello everyone and welcome to the Midnight Cryptid Club. I'm your host, Natalie Rose, and today I owe you an apology. Due to some unforeseen circumstances involving a bear trap, the full moon, and Mothman, we were unable to bring you our usual Friday episode last week, but now we are back and better than ever. And in mostly one piece. Thank you for spending your evening with us, and I promise we won't be going anywhere again for a little while. Before we get started, if you're not a member of the club just yet, hit that like button for me and be sure to subscribe because we discuss a different monster every Friday at midnight. Everyone, today we are on a journey to the second oldest state in the US, Pennsylvania. So this is actually our first foray into the mysterious land of Appalachia. I actually had to do some geographical consulting to figure out exactly what the area of Appalachia is. So from what I could understand, the strip runs from the southwest point of New York, through Pennsylvania, down through Kentucky, West Virginia, and brushes states all the way down to Mississippi. Get familiar with this because we're about to spend this week and next week traveling around in here. Hint, hint for next week's episode. In the hemlock forests of northern Pennsylvania, you may hear small squeals and the muffled cries of a creature in the woods. If you look hard enough in this area, you may also come across some small puddles, even though it hasn't rained in a while. If you follow this trail of water, you might just come across a squonk. These little creatures were first recorded by William T. Cox in his book, Fearsome Creatures of the Lumberwoods, originally published in 1910. But the legend of the squonk goes back much further. Logging camps throughout this region gave rise to all kinds of legends, including our weepy little friend. In the book, it's actually suggested that the creatures migrated from deserts to swamps and somehow ended up in the Pennsylvania woods. Cox gave the creature the Latin name Lacrimicorpus dissolvens, literally meaning dissolving tear body, after its primary form of self-defense. Our little friend is said to be entirely nocturnal. It moves about at night or at dusk to avoid catching any glimpses of itself. It's said to be a small creature, about the size of a small pig. Its skin is wrinkled and covered in welts and warts, and it has cauliflower ears covered in wax and hair. In its mouth, it has two crooked yellow tusks, and it's usually depicted with 4 legs. Sometimes they're shown as having like cloven or hoofed feet, and sometimes they're said to be webbed or even a combination of the two, so not entirely sure about that. Some have even said that one of the squonk's legs can be invisible. The poor little thing is so frightened and embarrassed of its own appearance that if it catches sight of itself, it'll dissolve into a puddle of its own tears. There's an example of this in Cox's book. One hunter, a US Forestry Service worker, claimed to capture a squonk in a sack, only to get home and find the sack contained nothing but tears and bubbles. There's a theory that the squonk is actually a little dangerous as well. It's said that the creature's misery can be contagious, and if you aren't careful, you could catch the squonk's bad case of the blues, and you too could disappear into a puddle. For these reasons, it's said that the best time for a squonk hunt is in the winter. The freezing temperatures keep the creature from being able to melt. If the squonk is roaming around in some leaf piles somewhere, there are a few features that we could compare to animals that we see in our own day-to-day lives. For example, the skin of the squonk is known to be loose-fitting or saggy. This is a lot like the skin of some dogs, like Shar-Pei or pugs. This loose skin is caused by the hyaluronic acid synthase 2 gene, or HAS2. Basically, hyaluronin is a sort of gel around the cells in the skin. It does a lot, including aiding hydration and elasticity. In a Shar-Pei, this gene goes into overdrive, creating way too much hyaluronin, and that's what causes the wrinkles. Maybe our squonk is also just super moisturized from crying all those tears. Another notable squonky feature are the tusks found on the little beast. These tusks are made of a hard, bone-like material called dentin, the same thing that makes up our teeth. The best comparison to squonk tusks are probably those of the warthog. This animal actually serves as a great comparison for the squonk in general, as warthogs are also covered in warts and have those pig or boar-like features kind of explored in the second iteration of Fearsome Creatures of the Lumberwoods. When it comes to the whole dissolving, disappearing act, there's no direct comparison, but some substances are stable in solution or in some other wild form, but cannot be isolated or captured without actually catalyzing their own polymerization or decomposition, essentially dissolving into their own tears. For example, a molecule containing a carboxylic acid moiety and an acid labile moiety might be stable when initially prepared as the salt version, barium propionate, but unstable as the free acid, prophenic acid version.
Well, I'll be.
These have been named chemical squonks. While I couldn't find any evidence of recent squonk sightings, there's been a huge resurgence in squonk lore. You can find them in some funny places, like on a Steely Dan track and even on a Genesis album. Fun fact, I actually told my first grade teacher that Phil Collins was my favorite musical artist at the time, and I remember her being a little concerned. I'm not sure if our little friend would be thrilled or mortified to learn that he now has his own festival held every August in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Squonkapalooza is one of the most well-regarded cryptid fests around, and we actually got the pleasure of meeting one of those founders. Lisa Russell, one of the founders of Squonkapalooza, actually was selling her wares at the Van Meter Visitor Festival, so here was our talk with her. Hi guys, so I'm here with Lisa from, is it Cryptid Comforts? I love that. She has the cutest booth here at the Van Meter Visitor Festival. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
I do plushies and pet toys that are all cryptozoology themed, and other stuff, stickers, buttons, pins, keychains, all the silly stuff.
I love it. So what got you into cryptids?
So it all started back in 2016. I was teaching at the Portland Jewish Academy Summer Discovery Program. And I created a class called Unicorns, Dragons, and Bigfoots, oh my. And in researching for that, I started learning more and more about cryptids. I always say Bigfoot is a gateway drug into other cryptids. And I kind of went down a rabbit hole, and it turned into a cryptozoology class for kids. And that was the same year as the first Bigfoot festival in Oregon. So I did that as a vendor because I was making other plushies before that. And eventually the cryptids took over.
That is so cool. I love that. I think that they're a great tool to kind of educate kids. So you have so many cute plushies here. Is there a cryptid that is your favorite?
That's like asking a mom which of her children she prefers. I love all my babies so much. I mean, I'm very partial to the Squonk because I am the host of Squonkapalooza, one of the hosts. So that one's a Pennsylvania cryptid that cries all the time because he's so ugly. So it's the most relatable also of all the cryptids because I think everyone feels a little squonky sometimes. So Squonk always will have a special place in my heart, but I also really love the Grafton Monster and the Hopkinsville Goblin and the Jersey Devil and the Water Leaper. I have so much love for all my babies.
I love that. So you have the cutest little book sitting here called Why So Sad Squonk. Can you show it to us?
Yeah.
And what inspired this?
So when I learned about the story of the Squonk and that he cries all the time because he's so ugly, I thought he needed a little, body confidence. So I decided to write a children's book about him, and it turned out the book is more about kindness, compassion, and friendship as told through a squonk and a dog man. So in the book, he starts crying because he's being bullied by some mean squirrels. And then Dogman hears him crying in the distance and comes to find him, befriends him, teaches him that he is beautiful and special just the way he is. So it's all about, being kind and loving.
I love that. That is so cute. Where can people find this if they're online?
So Instagram is the best way. So it's Instagram at cryptid_comforts. You can just put into Google Cryptid Comforts. I'll come up. Cryptidcomforts.com gives you my link tree with all my links to all my stuff.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Lisa. This is amazing. Definitely check it out, guys, and find some cryptid comforts for yourself, because these are too cute. Thank you so much for spending your evening with us. Now that we're wrapping up, I just wanted to make sure that you all know that each and every one of our club members is very, very special to us. We here at Midnight Cryptid Club love all of you guys so much. So next time you're feeling a little squonky, take a deep breath, grab a blanket, and spend some time with us on the channel. Just remember, it'll all be okay. Next week, we have a very extra special, super exciting episode for you, and I cannot wait to share it. But for now, good night, sleep tight, and don't let the monsters bite. Beautiful. We gotta slow this one down. I was like, la, 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 la. Thank you so much, Jake, for adjusting as I go. You're awesome. And then graphics, yeah. You got it. We love you. Gosh.